thought I'd take a tour of another area in my community, an area called Landmark, where you can see some shopping and other things. So now I'm walking to the bus stop to get a bus to Landmark. Here comes my bus. This is an estate bus. It's not used for going around the city, but just around this estate. No fare to use it either, so I can get on back or front. It does not matter. There weren't too many people when I got on the bus, but now there's quite a few. It's pretty crowded. Room only. And bumpy, as you can see. And in the time it took me to get off that bus, it started raining, so I'm now carrying an umbrella around. The rain is falling. This is Landmark, an area with some shopping and high-rise apartments. It's fairly typical in China to find residential areas like this that are combined with shopping areas. Certainly it's quite convenient for the residents to be able to shop right near their homes. It is raining pretty hard. Don't know if you can see quite how hard it's raining, but it is raining. Got another estate bus going by there. This rain is not too convenient for filming in, but it is a very accurate glimpse of Guangzhou. We get a lot of rain in the summertime, and it is summer at the time I'm filming, July to be specific. So, pretty rainy here. We get a fair number of typhoons here, but this is not a typhoon. It's just a relatively minor storm coming in. Still, you can see it's pouring down rain on us. Okay, take a gander at how horizontal the rain is here. The wind and the rain. Oh my gosh, this is pretty crazy. I might not have come out to film this if I had known it was going to be quite this bad. But hey, at least you got a chance to see just how the weather is here in Guangzhou in the summer. Wow. First thing you see in this shopping area is a big row of banks. This one's Bank of China. It's one of the bigger banks in the country. Lots of foreigners have accounts here since it's fairly good for wiring money. Not great. No bank in China is great for that though, due to currency controls. This is China Merchants Bank. These banks are mostly closed today because it's Saturday. The ATMs inside here are still open though. And most people tend to go to ATMs most of the time, especially because service is not that great at most of these banks. It tends to be really slow. So people try to avoid going into a bank as much as they can. I remember when I first came here to China, there would be huge lines outside the ATMs because people needed to use that to get money and no one wanted to go inside to the bank to deal with how slow everything would be. These days that's not so true, particularly because these days so many people are using cashless payments, phone payments in particular. WeChat and Alipay are all but ubiquitous around here, and people are just not using cash that much anymore. There's nobody here at these ATMs. When I first came here to China, there would almost always be somebody in the bank getting money because you needed it so much, because people used lots of cash back then. I would say that cashless, contactless payments have been going on here a lot earlier than they were in the West. They've started to catch on recently, I think, what with the pandemic and all, and trying to avoid spreading the coronavirus. But they've been going on here in China for a lot longer. Here's a pet shop. Oh look, there's a kitty in there. So cute. And here's a shop I go to a lot. It's a photo and print shop. I don't own my own printer or scanner, so I end up coming here fairly often to get documents scanned or printed. Another reason I need to go here sometimes is to get photos taken for my visas. This sign is actually telling you that they can take pictures that can be used for visas or passports. They know me here pretty well. This photo shop had to shut down when the pandemic was really bad back in February, so I actually used to have to send them messages and ask, can I come in and print something? And they would let me in. That was interesting back then. These days things are back to being pretty normal. The next few stores here are mostly beauty shops and clothing stores. Don't know why these mannequins have golden arms, but whatever, it's all good. And silver ones here. Bronze next? Who knows? And sunglasses, how fun. Gotta be cool. In this area, there's a bunch of shut down restaurants. There used to be a lot of open restaurants here, but they were opening up and closing, and then a new one would open up at pretty quick rates. This area struggled for a while to compete with another shopping center that I plan to show you sometime also. So business has been a little dodgy here and rents are pretty high. Then along came the pandemic and it got worse. This particular community, Landmark, had multiple coronavirus cases, so it was locked down even more than the rest of this community. I used to go to this cafe from time to time. They had some pretty decent Western food here, but it's been closed down or actually moved to another location, as this sign says here. Another shuttered restaurant here. Another one here. Here we got a little shop for China Telecom, which is one of the main telecommunications providers here in China. Provide lots of people's internet, traditional landline service, and now they even do have mobile phone service too. Another shutdown restaurant. More shutdown restaurants. Always shut down restaurants. Everywhere you go, shut down restaurants. Yep. They had spicy food here. Hunan food. But it's gone. Lots of Chinese parents and grandparents just love taking babies and other little kids to these shops where people can just let their kids swim or bathe in these tubs. Pretty fun for the kids. We used to take our kids there, well, not to that one, but to a place like it when they were littler. Here's a restaurant, and oh my goodness, it's actually open! Tells you several safety protocols like wearing masks and getting your temperature taken. Here's a big fruit shop. Here's an electronics store. Got some computers and printers here. Tea shop. This is a travel agency. Not getting a crazy amount of business, what with the pandemic, but hopefully things will improve for them soon. And this is our local wet market. You may have heard more about wet markets recently, since it's known that a wet market is where the coronavirus outbreak began. But the truth is, most wet markets are pretty innocuous, selling things like eggs, fish, vegetables, fruit, meat, and other really commonplace things. You mightn't care for the way they sell it. For example, they were definitely selling pig's feet there. Not really something I care to eat either, but still a pretty normal place. Also got these stalls that sell snacky type foods. And up this escalator, we got a supermarket here. Frozen foods here. Dairy over here. Got rice here. Some noodles for cooking. Flour. Canned and jarred goods. Instant noodles. Soy sauce. Lots of soy sauce. And cooking oil here. Junk food. Including M&Ms. And plenty of beer, soda, and wine. This is one of many foreigners in China's favorite places in the supermarket. Some housewares and personal care. Laundry detergent here, shampoo, pots and pans for cooking, and a pharmacy. This pharmacy definitely has international and traditional Chinese medicine. And with the weather having improved, I can actually get inside the residential community here and look around a bit. Once again, some pretty tall buildings here. You can see why an outbreak of the coronavirus could be pretty dangerous with people living in such close proximity to each other. But things are a lot better now. Really pretty safe in this country. Got a little playground here. We've taken the kids to play here once or twice. The landscaping here is really pretty nice. A lot of greenery. Some nice narrow paths among the greenery. Seems like this would be a fun place to just come and wander around a bit. Not worry about much of anything, just look at the green trees, bushes, and grass. We had a friend who used to live in one of these buildings here. His daughter's birthday was very close to my son's birthday, so they actually had a joint birthday celebration last year. But they have since moved away to another part of the city, so we don't know anyone in this area anymore. And this is my bus back home. It's a free bus. They do want me tap my card here just to show that I live here and that I should be allowed to go. When I rode the bus earlier, they didn't care if I showed my card or not. Wow, that's a bumpy bus. because it was on its way out of the gated area. But this time it's on its way in, so they do want me to swipe my card to show that I live inside the gates and that I belong inside. I've just gotten off the bus and I'm on my way home now. Thanks so much for joining me on this tour of a typical residential and shopping area here in China. If you want to see more ordinary life here in China and ordinary places here in China, subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thanks a lot. Bye.